Welcome to Grounding Ascension, where we explore topics around activating and integrating our I am presence, coming back to our true selves. I am your host, Celeste Glus. Aloha friends, and welcome back. I'm pretty excited about today's episode. I've been wanting to share this for a while, and it looks like now is the time. So in today's episode, I'm going to be sharing my perspective from an energetic point of view of 2020 and then the shift into 2021. And the intention behind doing so is to really step away from the ego, mind, fear, rationale body and to step into a bigger frame of perspective. So that's really the intention of this podcast, to not take the entire human aspect so personal, but to instead understand that there is something much bigger playing out in the background of our lives, in the background of this human collective that we're a part of. And the more we understand that and are open at least to see that, the more we will be able to navigate these transformational times, because newsflash, nothing is going back to normal, quote unquote normal, right? Normal is being redefined. And so that's what I'll be talking about today. And also I'll be giving you some tips towards the end about how to navigate 2021 as we ground some of these new energies that are coming in. So before I start, I would like to share that the following information is made for those of you who are open to different levels and layers of reality. If you are the type of person that watches TV and bases your entire reality on the things that are being said on television and mainstream media, and you believe this to be your absolute truth, this is my disclaimer before we ever get into the conversation, that nothing of basically what I say, what I live, or what I speak is in alignment to what you probably see on TV. I don't own a television. I don't watch it, nor am I really interested on what's going on. And I have many reasons for saying that. I am not just completely disconnected from society. I actually know exactly what's going on in society. And so I choose to really focus my energy and my attention in a very discerning way. And I'm happy to speak about that outside of this podcast. But for now, just know that this can be triggering to hear if you are somebody who does resort to the television and the mainstream media as your one and true source of information. And so this is an episode to share about what is happening at a different layer of reality. And when I say different, it just means that it's perhaps separate from the physical reality, but it's not actually separate, right? So I'm going to try and explain it in the most grounded way possible. But for the most part, I think we all understand that reality consists of physical and spiritual, right? Physical and energetic. And so what is unseen to some is seen by others. And that's what I'm sharing with you today. So 2020, it has been a huge wake-up call, perhaps even a storm for many. It can be seen like a massive clearing for the collective psyche, the emotional pain body, the desire and pleasure principle, the boundaries and programs and belief systems that we have set up as a foundation for this reality. You can call it a sort of wake-up call in a forced way to many, many people all over the world. And that is by far one of the biggest positive things that have happened in 2020. And anybody who has experienced a wake-up call knows that it is not easy. It is not meant to be easy. It is often referred to as a dark night of the soul. So for those of us who perhaps never experienced a wake-up call or a dark night of the soul, this might have been an opportunity or a situation to have experienced that. It's also been what many light workers have known that is needed in order to have a certain amount of cleanup in the energetic matrix of this reality. I'm going to repeat that. 2020 has been what many light workers have known was needed in order for a certain amount of cleanup, quote unquote, for the energetic matrix of this reality. If you could imagine almost like a cobweb, right? Like the internet web sign, right? Around the earth. This is what we would consider to be almost the matrix or the energetic fabric of the earth. And so this is what I talk about when I say there are many levels and layers to this reality that dictate pretty much everything you could ever imagine. And that everything includes everything about you. So it is important to understand that there is an energetic matrix that surrounds life, that surrounds Earth. And that energetic matrix has also within it many levels and layers of information. And just like a holographic universe or a holographic technology, anything that is in that cobweb or that fabric of existence that's wrapping around the earth can then be like a satellite distributed amongst the entire planet. And so our bodies, and this is why I focus so much on holistic wellness, fasting, movement, and everything else, is because our bodies are literally made to be satellites. And you can take that as a metaphor, but basically when we align our energy centers and open our energy field, instead of opening, let's say cleaning and refining our energy field, when we do that, we become receptors. Now, if our energy body is blocked or has a lot of belief systems and programs that are linked to certain matrices that contain programs that are held to hold down the psyche, hold down the ego, hold down us as a humanity, then what your holographic universe will be is going to be completely connected to that. I hope I'm making sense. So we are an energetic imprint of programs and belief systems that have been implanted basically on an energetic fabric, or that we have chosen as we clean up our field to connect to. So again, we are not victims. We are not held back by any means to access new levels and layers of information, knowledge, and wisdom. But if we choose to stay and remain with the old systems, that is a valid choice that you make, and hence you are stuck to an old paradigm. And I know that was a lot of wording, but this is what I mean when I say quote unquote clean up. There are a lot of light workers, what we call that, quote unquote, people who have come in to do a lot of cleaning up of these old programs and matrices. And the sole job of these light workers is to clean up the psyche, clean up our emotional wounds, clean up the ancestral patterns that we have subconsciously and blindly followed for millennia. And I just want to be clear about the cleanup process. There's really no judgment about where we are in that process. Now, like I said earlier, our bodies are like satellites. So just like the earth has this matrix or this web of life or this fabric of existence that's encoded with programs and what we would call quote unquote light codes, then so is our body. And this is what's really, really important, that we at some point will come to realize that we have the ability to encode or program our own energy field, just like the earth has her own energy field and her own matrix or web of information. So as we move into this next phase of human evolution, this next phase of the Aquarian age, this next phase of the conscious evolution of humanity, the field of information, the matrix, the cobweb, the fabric of existence is being rewritten. And that's a pretty deep statement that can be expressed and sort of unraveled in many different ways, because the fabric of existence exists outside of us and it also exists inside of us. And 2020 was exactly that. It was like shutting down your computer, clearing out all of the old programs, and then uploading new programs. Now, we didn't upload the new programs yet. We're actually still clearing and wiping the floor, right? This is what 2020 was. This is what lightworkers have known, and many other people, whatever you want to call them, have known that this time would come, have known that there needs to be almost like a shutdown. There needs to be a closing off of certain things that we are so intricately plugged into, like everyday daily routines, everyday entertainment, media, school systems, work platforms. Like there's just so much that we as a humanity are unconsciously plugged into, and just our subconscious is just running rampantly without any conscious discernment of whether these choices, these lifestyles that we have, that we've had in the past, that our ancestors have had in the past, are they even sustainable and reliable? And are they even aligned to not only who we are now, but who we want to be in the future? And that's what 2020 was about. It was about turning off the computer, clearing out all of the old programs that ran the computer every day. And now, as we move into 2021 and moving forward all through for many years to come, we get to create new programs, new realities, new belief systems. And this is not only something that has been written through ancient texts. It's not something that has been written only on the walls of pyramids and by ancient civilizations. No. This is something that, for those of us who are speaking about it, we have received visions. We have had experiences. We've had interactions where this information was given to us and we have been prepped for it. So I only say that because it's not something that we are just trusting and hoping that one day it will happen because someone before us told us. These are real life experiences that we're receiving and then being prepped to live through. So 2020, in a sense, for some people who knew this was happening, was not a mind-blowing situation. It wasn't really appalling. It wasn't so disturbing, and I know that may trigger some people, but it just is what it is, in the sense of a greater picture of reality for those who have faced death, for those who have faced the reality of the human consciousness evolution. That was actually one of the most peaceful and calm ways to go about a much needed transition in the realm of evolving a humanity. Like, it could have been so disastrous. It could have been so horrifying. And, being at home for an extended amount of time, you get to know yourself intimately, deeply. And that is definitely hard, but it could have been a lot more disastrous. So in a sense, 2020 was not, to some or to many of those who are able to see this higher or different perspective energetically, it wasn't mind-blowing. Like, oh my God, where did this come from? It's out of left field. I cannot believe this is happening. The world is dying. It's like, oh, this is how it's going down. I understand. There's a clearing happening. Everybody's subconscious is coming to the forefront. Our fears and patterns and ancient belief systems that no longer serve us moving forward are finally coming to the surface. Okay, now people have to play it out. Okay, I see. Sense, it was like a test for humanity, you know, it was a test. And it was a huge wake-up call in regards to seeing where we are with our consciousness as a culture, as a collective, seeing what will happen if we are faced with tapping deeper into our subconscious. Would people fall into absolute fear? Would they fall into so much fear that they believe they cannot walk outside? And I know that that's different in all parts of the world. I speak specifically about the United States, and I speak specifically about if you have a backyard and you're unwilling to sit in your own backyard, right? Like, this is the level that I'm talking about. I understand that there are places where you literally were not allowed and still perhaps are not allowed to walk on the street because the cops will come. And I respect that. You know, you have to make discerning, practical decisions for yourself, of course. But are you opening the window to get fresh air? Or are you in so much fear that you believe that you can't? This is the levels and the layers of consciousness that we're dealing with. Are you able to anchor into your truth? Or are you basing your entire reality, your entire matrix of consciousness according to what you hear from others and outside of you? Are you able to tap into your own sense of practicality and intuition? Do you have enough courage to believe what you inherently know is your human right? To have fresh air, to have fresh sunlight? Or is this something that you genuinely believe is and potentially can be hurting you and potentially kill you? And then the question behind all of this is, where does it all actually come from? Where does this need to hold on to what somebody else tells you as your full reality? Where does this need come from? Where does the disconnection to your own intuitive human right consciousness, where does that fall apart? And so in the unfolding and the reprogramming of what we have seen in 2020, what has brought itself up to the surface is the division of worlds that we hear about in ancient texts. And it's so unreal to watch this thing unfold. It's pretty mind-blowing because the divide is becoming larger and larger and larger with every day that passes. And I think for those of you who are still listening to me right now, who've made it this far, understand that there are people that just get it, and there are people that just don't. And again, the perspective is there's no judgment. Everybody has a divine destiny that they are here to be playing out and living out. So everything is divinely orchestrated at some level or another. It is truly based on the evolution of human consciousness and soul consciousness and universal consciousness, if you want to take it to that level. So there is absolutely no judgment. And in knowing that, we get to discerningly allow everybody to have their own experience. And that's why I'm creating this podcast and allowing myself to speak up about this, because I know that some people will hate me for saying these things. And that's okay, because that's what they have to live. And so the division of worlds, it's like one divide is that there's people who choose to play and stay entangled with old patterns that will hold them hostage to fears and hate for all days to come. They are choosing to intermingle with programs that are based on fear and hate. And perhaps they are, I honestly believe that People don't consciously choose this. It's because the fear is so strong that it eats you alive. That's what these darker energies can do, right? So they're not consciously wanting to live like this. They're just so entangled that they don't even realize that they're choosing fear and hate over any other possibility. And then you have the other side, the other perspective. And it's those who decide, I want to get curious about what's actually happening. Is there a new way of seeing the world? Is there something behind the scenes happening that perhaps I wasn't aware of? Is there really a way to empower myself in the midst of this chaos and perhaps even experience a rebirth of my own psyche, of my own relationships, of my own birthright as a human being through this process? And perhaps if I anchor into deeper and deeper and deeper layers of love and wisdom and intuition, perhaps maybe there's a chance that I'm not seeing something. And that's what the wake up call is, right? That's what clearing emotional trauma is. That's what we as light workers are here to do. We constantly ask ourselves, am I blind to this? What am I blind to? And it only takes a certain level of curiosity for then life to show you what you need to be shown. And again, there's no judgment on anyone's path or any choice for living this whole puppet play show out, because it feels on a level like it's just something that needs to be played out for human consciousness on a universal level. And we take it personal because we love our lives. We're humans and we want things to stay the same. And the only constant in life is change, right? So what has 2020 really been about? Again, this is from my perspective. Take what resonates, leave the rest. But I believe that 2020 has taught us tremendous life-changing lessons. It's taught us presence, true presence. Live today. Live in this now moment. It's taught us, in that sense, how to deal with uncertainty. What if? What if? What if? Can I live with what if? Yes, I can. I do have the strength and the courage. And wow, you know who gives me that strength and the courage? The people closest to me, the people I interact with. Because it's when we don't have the things that we take for granted is when we see their value. So what year more than 2020 has shown us the importance of the people that surround us? The people that our busy lives, our goal-driven lives, our go demanding lives would pull us constantly away from. What more has 2020 taught us but the importance and the power of being surrounded by the kindred souls of our lives? It's taught us how to discern, hopefully, or perhaps helped us realize where we need more discernment, where we have just allowed certain things to come into our field, into our life. Like we just accepted certain things about life and we never really questioned them, because who has time to question things in this reality? I get it. Ain't nobody got time for that, and yet when there is a clearing, when there is a shutdown of your technology, of your computer, of your matrix, when it is time to go inside, and this is what we experience from time to time in fasting programs. This is why I think fasting is so powerful, because it gives you a glimpse of, if I completely shut down, if I completely stop, something arises that I have not yet seen. And that's what 2020 taught us. I'm kind of feeling like 2020 was like a forced fast without fasting. That's actually a really good metaphor, because if you've ever done a fast before, like in the correct way, you will get to some kind of such a down, dark moment that it's like, holy shit, this cannot be real. I'm about to eat the next thing in my face, right? And that's just like for a short-term fast, right? But 2020 was kind of like a fast that was required without fasting, you know? Because the energetic matrix is being rewritten, both while fasting and also while you were in 2020. 2020 has taught us what is sacred. What is sacred to our lives? What's important to us? What are we not willing to let go of? What are we not willing to compromise? What is actually worth my time, my energy? Where do I stand with my own belief systems about myself, about other human beings, about other races and cultures, about other regions and countries? Where do I stand with all that? And can I, not only where, but can I open up my beliefs and perspectives towards perhaps things that have been inherited and I never even realized? Where do I give my power away and base my reality on someone else's perspective or something else that's providing a perspective? How have I lost myself in this life? I think 2020 has taught us, like, where did I make the decision that this was the best way of living? Like, how could I have done that? And do I choose to continue that? So where do we go from here? What's next? You know, the veils are truly lifting at this time. Once we clear the flora, we sweep out the debris, we clean up this matrix, this cobweb of light codes, information, programs, whatever you want to call it, the veils begin to lift. The veils that have been, again, out there, but also in here, the veils that have covered our heart, our third eye, our energy body, our energy centers, like these veils that have held us back and restrained us and held us stiff in our programming and belief systems, they're all dissolving. They're all being swept away. But here's the thing, they don't get swept away by themselves. We have to give the green light. We have to allow the transition to happen. We have to be curious enough and open enough and willing enough to allow these veils to reveal new aspects and layers of this reality. And that means letting go of old belief systems, letting go of old programs, letting go of limitations that we've been told define our reality. I promise you, the more you do that, the more you will be blown away by the multidimensionality. And not maybe even multidimensionality, just by the absolute abundance that exists in this realm of Earth. We're being given an opportunity to release what no longer serves and step into what does. And that opportunity is given to us now. Now. Not tomorrow, not 2020. We still have a massive opportunity. And when I say opportunity, I also say responsibility. We're coming out of this shift as completely different human beings. We have to stay open to that. We're becoming better than we were before. We're becoming something we did not even know could be possible. We're becoming more united, more intuitively refined. We're understanding how to be anchored into our truth. 2020 has been a huge blessing on many, many levels. And so it's so important as we get into 2021, it's so important that we get clear on the following. what serves me, my family, my community, and the collective at large. It's no longer just about me, 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 me. 2020 has made us realize that we do have a collective energy field. Maybe you don't see it like I do. Maybe you don't understand that cobweb of matrix. It doesn't even matter. The point is, 2020 has made us realize that there is a collective at large that is affected by our belief systems. And if you question that, notice, how did your belief system around everything that has happened affect those closest to you? What is actually sustainable? What's true for me? What's not true for me? It's so important to get clear about these questions. Because when we decide that something is true for us, we're more unwilling to budge. Because it's like we're anchoring into that. And anybody that says opposite of that, we're not even going to lend an ear for it. We're not going to open our heart to it. And the same for the not true, right? Whatever's not true for me, somebody that says something opposite of that, I'm not really going to be open to that. But if I get clear about those things, then maybe I might shift the attitude I have around certain people and certain conversations. And then 2020 has also asked us, like, where can I shift or expand into? Where have I limited myself? Where have I held myself back? What beliefs, patterns, fears, programs, wounds no longer serve me? No longer serve me. They're just holding me down. And who can I trust as a respectful and discerning source of information? I think that was huge for 2020. And I'm not going to go into details, but I think you get it. Because really understanding who you are relying as a source of information has a huge impact on your reality and your energy field and your ability to discern and answer the questions that I have asked you throughout this entire episode. So what is next for you? Are you really still waiting to go back to 2019? Like, really, I still hear it to this day. I'm like, wow, people are still waiting to go back to something called normal. Really? So chances are you've learned a lot about yourself in 2020, I hope. Things have come up for you to see and own, and also perhaps, hopefully, make decisions about. And so if 2020 was a huge wake-up call, then are you actually answering that call? Are you actually doing something about what you've experienced? And I think that's a big, big thing, especially for us. And when I say us, I mean you, like the listeners and the population that listens to this podcast. Like, are we actually answering the call, or are we just watching these things unfold and we're not really like anchoring into a different kind of reality, responsibility? That's so important. It's so important. This is grounding ascension, guys. This is it. We are living it. We're living the time of life where we get to ground ascension. So if 2020 was the wake-up call, and the wake-up call we know brings chaos, then 2021 is the tsunami wave of transformation. It's the time of discernment and action towards the new. It's time to ground this shit, guys. It's just what it is. And so lately I've been feeling, since the start of this year, the energy field around the mind body. Because the mind has its own energy field. It's been so overactive. And then I can also feel the collective, like overthinking about everything that's happening. Like, can we mentally move forward? Can we mentally withstand this? Can we mentally X, Y, and Z? And this is such a big reminder. Now more than ever, this is not a mind game. This is about dropping our mind into our heart and tapping into those brain neurons. Sorry, I just sabotaged that term, right? But there are brain neurons, brain cells in our heart. It's time to tap into those. And 2021 will ask of this time and time again. It will ask us to drop into our heart and tap into those neurons that fire up the brain in the heart space. Can I think and see things differently from a place of pure love and possibility as opposed to fear and doubt? And 2021 will train us to do this if and only if we allow it. Because it will take heart-centered will. It will take heart-centered determination, and it will take heart-centered action to not only build the next level of humanity, but also be it, ground it, live it. So I hope this has given you perhaps some kind of nudge or insight as to the energetic perspective of 2020. And I'd like to give some tips for navigating 2021. So first and foremost, like I mentioned before, people. Finding your community. And perhaps your community has shifted. I've seen a lot of communities shift through 2020. And when I say community, I mean tribes of people. What people make you feel good, make you feel like you can do this. And not only can you do this, but you can be abundant and thrive and understand things from a different energetic perspective. And I say energetic perspective because that's what's behind all of matter. We're made of energy. So if you can shift your energetic perspective, literally, was it Wayne Dyer that says, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change? Like literally, who does that for you? Who's your tribe? Who are your mentors? Who are your teachers? It's really, really important throughout 2021 as we build the new to have the right people around you. Because there are people that are going to, remember, like I said earlier, the division of worlds. There are people that will latch on for dear life to hold on to what no longer is. Because it's not anymore. That system is only a matter of time before it just all disintegrates. Again, no judgment. Just realizing who supports you, who helps you turn and face towards the new sunrise, towards the new direction, towards a new way of consciousness and life. The next is choosing your programs, choosing your subconscious belief systems, basically choosing your codes of existence. So remember I said that this web of life, the energy body of the earth and our bodies are made up of programs, light codes, whatever you want to call it. We are a holographic universe within each and every one of us. And we do get to choose what we project from our holographic universe. And so if we want to choose being alone and in fear is real, then we get to live that. It's a choice. And if we get to choose that being alone in fear, you know, I'm not really feeling that anymore. I'm kind of over it. Let me see if I can get curious about how to step out of this. Then perhaps your reality will holographically show you a new perspective. Trust and watch magic unfold. It's all belief systems. It's all programs. It's all subconscious patterns that, again, we didn't perhaps even consciously agree to them. We came in, let's just put it that way. We came in and we knew that they'd be here, and now we have a choice. Do we want to clean up the floor or do we want to keep it as is? But there truly is a choice. And that choice is what I call the activation of the I am presence. The more you choose, the more you walk towards the light, the more you walk towards cleaning up your energy field and your holographic universe and cleaning up your floor and, upgrading to new software programs, whatever you want to look at it or see it as. Every time you do that, you walk towards your I am, divine I am presence. But again, you got to choose it and you got to work for it. Ain't nobody going to do it for you. And that takes me to the next tip. Take full responsibility for your thoughts and life. And it's just one of those things that nobody wants to hear. It's like, yo, Celeste, I know it's too much. And it's like, well, it's not too much if it's being given to you. Sometimes we think life is too much, but what I've learned is that if it is given, it is because you are ready. And so no one gives you the light codes. No one gives you the new programs. No one gives you an initiation. Nobody gives you anything. Not because they don't want to. It's just because that's not the way that this universe is made. So if anybody promises that they're going to give you something, question it, because it's on you. You're the one that has to take full responsibility. You can ask for help, of course. You should definitely ask for help. You should definitely ask for teachers and mentors and guides and have your community that's going to support you. But ain't nobody going to give it to you. This is not a report. It's not a school 5th grade test that somebody just gives you the answers to. It doesn't work that way. Sorry. But you're not given a free pass. And waking up one day in full freedom and bliss and understanding is not just going to come naturally because you said, oh, that sounds cool. I want to try that. Right? It doesn't work that way. So you have to show up for it. You got to work through it. You got to get rid of the old shit that's inside the system. And in general, don't take this to the T. But in general, the older you are, the harder it is because the longer you've lived with these programs. And again, I know a lot of older people that are like, they just get it. They're so inspirational. They lead me, But, I think for the most part of society, and this goes for many of us that are listening to this, that have parents and family that are of a different generation. And we want to judge. We want to push them towards this. We want to give them a podcast to listen to. And it's like, listen to everything I just said. You cannot give anything to anybody. They have to be in a place of open receptivity. If they're not, you're just spinning your wheels. You have to be the change. You have to take full responsibility for you, and then watch how your holographic universe shifts those around you. And it's not an ego thing. You don't get to choose, oh, I'm going to change my universe so that my mom and dad and uncle and auntie also shift. Like, it doesn't work that way either. Like, you don't get to choose that. I'm sorry, but you don't. It's really up to everybody's soul destiny. And it's all divine. Once you realize it's all divine, you just honor everybody's journey. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm just saying you kind of get a higher perspective and you just honor their journey. And you actually are in gratitude because it's not easy to choose to hold on to the fear. It's not. It's a lot harder, right? So be the change, take full responsibility, and know that by you taking full responsibility, the ripples are going to go so far that you probably cannot even fathom. It's known that when you shift your consciousness, not only does the inner plane shift, but there are ripples across that universe that feel your shift. And perhaps that seems very out there, but it's real. It is so real. You are so powerful. So take full responsibility, please. Okay, next tip, because I'm just taking this really long. Become your own guiding force. Activate your I am. Again, you get to decide. You get to level up. You get to take full responsibility of your immune system. I said it. You get to do that. You get to empower yourself to say, I have an immune system that I have to take responsibility for. Nobody else outside of me gets to discern and tell me where my immune system is. I get to take full responsibility for it. Where have I shunned it? Where have I taken it to the side? Where have I not even given it attention? You get to decide. There are people that get sick and are mad because it's like, oh, there's this cold that's going around. No, it's your immune system that you're not taking care of. Nothing is going around anywhere. Like, this has been like for decades happening. It's just time for everybody to just level up and get it. Just fucking get it. Sorry. You're so powerful, And so you get to decide who's in charge of your free will. And free will is not just, are you going to wear a mask or not? Right? Because I know that's been a big thing. Like, I'm not going to wear a mask. I have free will. It's about how do you feel and what do you think while you're wearing it? Are you mad and hate the world around you? And are you in fear when you're wearing your mask? Or do you just put it on because you know that there's laws and rules that people just have to abide by and businesses have to abide by, and you're just doing your part, and then you don't think anything of it, and then when you're ready, you take it off, and that's it. That's perspective. That's a consciousness shift. That mask wearing thing or anything outside of you, forget about the masks, anything outside of you that latches on and defines your reality, that's the issue. It's not the mask. It's everything that's around energetically on the mask, right? It's not the thing. It's the thing that is wrapped up around the thing. The 10,000 things that are wrapped up around the thing that energetically permeate through your existence and then take down your immune system. It's all connected. And then the last tip, the fun one. Woo! I'm not always down. This is a fun one. Get creative. Oh my goodness. 2020 has created so much space in our lives, I think, for a lot of us. And maybe not open space. I'm not saying like you're off or not working. I'm not saying that. I'm saying like space as in clarity, right? Like 2020 has brought so much clarity to the forefront. And I hope that some of this clarity has perhaps allowed you to tap in, or perhaps this right now is allowing you to tap into your creative genius. And this is the perfect time to do that, because when you tap into your creative genius, and that could be anything, that could be cooking, that could be working out. For me, it's working out, it's meditating, it's dancing, it's singing, it's, hiking. Like, it could be anything. What is your creative genius? You don't have to be creating things. You can just be in this absolute flow state, right? We see that a lot in Hawaii with surfers. Like, when they're in the water, they're in a different dimension. It's amazing. Singers, songwriters. And again, it doesn't have to be art. It could just be whatever gets you in that creative mode. Take time to connect, because that is what creates heart coherence, by the way. And heart coherence is a foundational principle to Ascension. It's one of the big things that I talk about in the Divine I Am course. We need to have heart coherence. Just how we train our physical body, we need to train our energy body. And our energy body is directly related to our ability to create heart coherence. And if you don't know your creative genius, if you don't know how to be creative, then you need to start yesterday. Like, for real. Being creative is literally medicine for the soul. It will guide you. It will literally guide you. It permeates your reality. I'm telling you, it shifts the holographic universe around you when you are creative. Don't worry about what it means. Don't worry about making it into a business. Don't worry about how it affects the people around you. Just freaking do it. And then watch how it impacts your reality. You're going to be surprised at what happens when you start to get more creative. The ripple effects are ridiculous. So I really hope that we have come to a point where we do have a different set of values. We have perhaps cleaned up or integrated new belief systems that allow for more freedom, for more expression, for more anchoring into our truth. We have gained new perspectives, new attitudes. We've shifted our goals in life. I hope 2020 has brought this for you. And I hope that we can start to tune into more of the blessings that 2020 has given us. because 2021 is only going to grow upon it. So if you put down 2020 in the books as the shittiest year of your life, then don't expect 2021 to be much different. And the next coming years, because sweetheart, the transitions and the transformations that are happening are beyond our human understanding. And so we gotta get ready. We gotta train our bodies. We gotta show up for it. I believe you can, and yes, you will, okay? So how will you decide to move through 2021? Tell me. I would love to hear from you. Please message me, email me, let me know. Because we're not getting rid of anything. We're not going back to anything. We're only moving forward. We're only up-leveling our consciousness as a humanity. And we deserve it. It's about time. We've been in this thing for way too long. So I promise this is all happening for you, not to you. I know sometimes it gets bizarre, but it's true. It's the time to wake up. It's the time to be a creative genius and do the thing that you love to do. So that's it for this episode. I hope that you've enjoyed it. And I have some pretty cool topics coming up in the next few episodes. So again, stay tuned. Please reach out to me. Let me know what you'd love to hear about, what you think about all of this. And please support any way that you can, whether that's a like on social media, whether it's a comment, whether it's signing up for a free course or checking out all of my other courses. I would really appreciate that. I put a lot of time and energy into all of this, and I love to hear from all of you. All right, my friends, until next time, mwah, I love you.